We start with education news. New York City Mayor Eric Adams and schools Chancellor Melissa Aviles Ramos have unveiled plans to open 7 new public schools by next fall. The initiative aims to expand career tech education, support students with print-based learning disabilities, and ease overcrowding in high-demand neighborhoods. The new schools will be located across the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. And in the Bronx, STEAM Center will open in September 2025. That's focusing on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. It'll serve high school students across districts 8, 10, and 11, offering hands-on learning to prepare students for real-world challenges. In other news, Fordham University's Out of the Darkness Campus Walk is an annual event in partnership with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, raising suicide prevention awareness. Our BronxNet reporter, Maddie Delbella, has a story.
As the rain in early April continues to fall, a select few continue to walk on for the shared goal of making sure everyone is heard and everyone is seen. Fordham University's annual Suicide Prevention Walk looks to turn complete strangers into friends towards a goal larger than themselves.
We're here to remember those and honor those who lost their lives or struggle every day with that tough battle. And, personally, I can connect to that. I'm sure so many of us can.
Outside of Fordham University's Keating Hall, the Out of the Darkness Campus Walk comes alive through a collaboration with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, as student organizers and volunteers in colorful team shirts gather for a loop around campus, eventually returning to Keating Steps, where tables are set with mental health resources from local Bronx businesses sponsoring the event, with a goal to raise $10,000 for the AFSP.
The walk itself is a giant lap around campus, and our walk really brings our community together to have an open conversation about mental health. Oftentimes there's a stigma and it causes people to feel alone and as though they cannot have a conversation. But through our walk, we bring together families, alumni, faculty, and all of our students.
Donning bead necklaces, attendees wear unique colors representing different mental health struggles as a means to find instant connection and solidarity among today's participants, even between total strangers, still united by the same purpose.
I'm walking in support of a family member who lost his life to suicide.
Today I'm walking in support of some friends and family that have lost their lives to suicide.
I'm here in support of my friend's dad. His name is Brad. Shout out Brad.
The CDC shows there were roughly over 49,000 suicide-related deaths in the United States in 2023. And while updated statistics are not confirmed, the data trends suggest similar or even higher numbers of those affected in 2024. Fordham representatives say open conversations about mental health is often one of the strongest approaches in their ongoing effort, much like today, for breaking through to treatment, all the while breaking down stigmas.
They're not alone. There's always going to be someone who's there to listen to them and hear them and support them, so you're never alone.
On East Fordham Road, Madi Dembele, BronxNet Community Television.
And thank you, Madi. In safety news, 500 New York City bodegas will soon be equipped with emergency panic buttons. This announced by New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Now, the buttons are part of a $1.6 million initiative aimed at enhancing safety for staff and customers. The program, called Silent Shields, targets bodegas with higher crime rates. With funding from an emergency grant to the United Bodega Association, the panic buttons will connect directly to the NYPD cameras, allowing officers to respond faster during emergencies. The initiative comes after a string of violent incidents in bodegas, including a recent stabbing and shooting death in Inwood, right here in the Bronx. And the technology will be installed in the coming months through the specific locations, remaining confidential, of course, for safety reasons. In other news, the Bronx People's Credit Union and partners aim to reestablish local credit unions right here in the borough of the Bronx, promoting literacy, I should say financial literacy, as well as enabling residents to invest in their present and future. Now, the credit unions are a significant opportunity for eligible community members. Our BronxNet reporter, William Longo, has more details.
The opening of the Bronx People's Credit Union's newest branch marks a monumental step in empowering the communities across the borough with accessible financial services while boosting economic growth.
This is an incredible opportunity for us here in the Bronx to have a credit Credit Union to celebrate and to have access to lower interest rates, to more banking opportunities. And so it's a wonderful day here, and we're here to celebrate and to open a next chapter here for banking and financial services in the Bronx.
With the Bronx historically undersupported by banking, Vice President of WEDCO, the Women's Housing and Economic Development Corporation, and proud partner of today's grand opening, Carrie McLean, tells BronxNet that the borough getting access to a new, reliable credit union is instrumental.
WEDCO, Nos Quedamos, UNHP, and Banana Kelly have come together to form the Bronx Financial Access Coalition and partnered with the Lower East Side People's Federal Credit Union to bring the Bronx People's Federal Credit Union behind me to the Bronx. And we need this first branch to succeed.
The Bronx Financial Access Coalition seeks to provide extensive banking and financial literacy opportunities for all eligible Bronxites, a massive move for many residents who have not previously had access to these essential resources.
On behalf of the credit union to tell you testimony, and I say, you know what, it's the least I could do to go and thank them, because thanks to them today, you know, I'm able to have a new car, I'm able to not have credit card debt, and it's been amazing.
In a historically underserved borough, the Bronx People's Federal Credit Union seeks to return banking to the residents of the Bronx. It is essential to provide credit unions such as these ones to Bronxites to allow them to invest in themselves as well as their futures. On Intervale Avenue, William Longo, BronxNet Community Television.
And thank you, William. Participants at the New York City Public Library in the Bronx viewed the documentary American Delivery, which highlights the perilous experiences of pregnant women and new mothers. The film contrasts maternal health care in the U.S. with that of other countries, emphasizing the underutilized roles of midwives in America. Our BronxNet reporter, Nova Bajamanti, was there. She gives us a story right now.
Participants arrived at the New York Public Library in the Bronx to watch the informative documentary, American Delivery. The film focuses on the life-threatening challenges that women face while pregnant and during childbirth. It also shows the major systemic differences when it comes to maternal care in the States versus overseas. The biggest difference is the proactive use of midwives, which is often overlooked in America.
I see midwives as the essential, critical part of it, and there's so many studies that show midwives making an impact that they do, and that, you know, they have the saying, midwives save lives. I go by that, and that's part of why I'm a big advocate for more integration and expansion of scope of midwives in New York.
Midwives believes that we're not here to manage your health care, we're here to support it to the best that we can. And so there are many things that impact a woman's health, whether she has a home, whether she can eat well, whether she has, you know, a job that allows her to have a sustainable life. There are many, many things that impact a woman's ability to be healthy. And if you're healthy before you become pregnant, then your outcome is even better. So we not only focus on the woman's health at that particular time when we see her, but we focus on all the other things that would impact her life that would enable her to be healthy and have a good women's health reproductive state.
After the impactful screening, there was a helpful discussion between doulas and midwives and audience members on how to prepare for a safe and healthy maternal journey.
I think the biggest thing to take away as far as incorporation goes is learning about the accessibility that a specific hospital provides. So moving forward, not necessarily for giving birth, but for any kind of services, making sure that what you want before being exposed to what the hospital has to offer will be really helpful in navigating where to actually find appropriate care, because medical care isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. So it's important to have your own kind of expectations prior to going into an organization, then, you know, your expectations can be weighed.
Today's screening and conversation focused on the systemic problems in the United States when it comes to maternal care. Reporting for BronxNet, I'm Nova.
And thank you, Nova. That's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We're taking a quick break, but guess what? We have more open when we return.